What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another Games Talk Live. This is Season 2, Episode 1, with my very good friend, the one and only Ashen Luca. Luca Teal, the Ashen one.
Yes, the Ashen one, the Ashen Lucario. It's me. I'm here.
Hey,
here.
what's going on? What is going on with you? I've been trying to get you on the show forever.
I've been ducking and dodging the camera for years now. So, but I'm here. I'm on cam, and you got me. So, I think we should have a good time.
Most definitely. And Luca, you know what? Let's go ahead and start off. You know what? Screw that. We're going to start off with something that you're not really too fond of doing here, but it's something that I do with every guest. And we're going to go ahead and, not that we need an icebreaker here because we've known each other for, 5 years now, but we're going to go ahead and do a little 5 questions. 5 questions. Yes, that's me in the stupid little suit.
What in the world? Oh, okay.
All right.
All right, this is cute.
All right, Luca, 5 questions for trivia, and one that's going to be subjective, but I have the power to say whether you're wrong or right in this situation. Don't have all my things set up here, folks, because I don't have my studio. I don't have a studio here. So, of course, I just have the green screen going on. But in the future, I should have all my little sounds and everything ready to go. So, anyways, we're going to get on with this. Let's go ahead with question number 1 here, Luca. And that is, in Demon Souls, the large sword of moonlight is the only weapon in the game that can pass through shields. True or false?
False.
Correct. You got that one right.
That's good.
See, this might be too easy, folks. I said, she's so scared of doing 5 questions. So I said, let me tailor it around
I was not scared,
Souls
okay?
games.
I was letting you know. I was like, I don't know anything about this industry.
Yeah, she's like, I have no idea about anything with video games. And then she gets the first question right. Yeah, sure. Whatever, Luca. Yeah, we believe you now. You know what? I may have let me see if I have my sound. No, I don't have the sound for it. Dang it. That sucks. Anyway. Sorry, no ding sound, folks. No ding sound. And it's different without it, man. Anyway. Who is the first boss you encounter in the first Dark Souls game?
The Asylum Demon.
Is it in the first?
The first Dark
game?
Souls? Yeah, it's the Asylum Demon. You walk outside and he's wandering around in the courtyard, and then you have to go upstairs, and then you hop down to attack him. Correct.
Ding. Let's pretend there's a ding here. These are gonna suck because she knows all of them. Question 3. When comparing Dark Souls 1 to 2 and 3, what makes the bonfires different in Dark Souls 1 from the other 2 games?
In Dark Souls 1, you have to work in order to get the ability to, travel between bonfires.
Ding, 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 ding. You got it. These are too easy, folks. So, okay. So this one is an audio question. Can you tell me either the name of this boss theme music or which Dark Souls game it comes from?
That's his name, Gwen's theme from Dark Souls 1.
You're wrong.
Is it the remix version from Dark Souls 3 or
that one is actually Soul of Cinder.
Okay.
Dark Souls 3.
I can actually Soul of Cinder uses Gwen's theme.
Oh, does
from Dark Souls 1. Yeah. In the second half of the fight.
So you're telling me that this has 2 answers?
Yeah, because it's kind of like the Soul of Cinder is an homage
it's
to
not,
all
it's
of the
not different at all?
I don't know. I don't know if it's a remix to it or not. All I know is that in the second half of the fight, it starts to play. And it's actually, the Soul of Cinder is it uses different builds that Dark Souls players like to use throughout the game. So it's then it does Gwen's theme in the second half. It's an homage to Gwen, this is the first the first ending boss in Dark Souls, you know what I'm saying? So Gwen has a special place in people's hearts. So it's an homage to Gwen. So
really, I did not know that. So I will let the audience decide whether she gets it or not. You guys can decide that. Decide her fate on that one, people. By the way, I don't even have it. I don't have anything up. I can't even see the people. What is going on here? Is there anybody even in there?
Yeah. There's 52 people. What's up, guys? What's up?
Man.
Hi.
Yeah, I don't have anything up here. Yeah, it's been a while, folks, as you can tell. There, I've got them up. I see. Okay, they're saying that she gets it, so we're gonna give it to you.
Dude, I am a Souls fiend, man. Like,
so basically, Luca, you got all 4 questions right. Let's see if you can get this one right.
Okay.
What's your favorite gaming experience of all time?
Favorite gaming experience of all time? I had a really good time with Mass Effect 2. Like, that was one of those games that just sticks with you. You know what I'm saying? Wins. Yeah. In terms of the storytelling and the character development and everything. So you definitely win.
You won the game. You don't win anything, but you got to sit here with me and answer the 5 questions. But it's not the same without my mood music and my flipping, man, I really like the ding.
Waiting.
I like the
ding
song.
Ding. I was like, where is it? Like,
yeah, I need to fix all that because right now, like I said, the studio is not really here, and it's just, this is just a makeshift whatever. I'm trying to get by, people. I'm trying to do my thing here.
No, you're good, man.
So no I think it's working out okay. I've got a couple of people in the chat already. I've got Gotti360. What's up, Gotti? He says, happy 4th to both y'alls. Yeah. You know what? It is going to be a 4th of July tomorrow. Unfortunately, I got to work tomorrow. Well, actually, fortunately, because we make a lot more money, working that day. So I'm good with it. Hargeet Shani. Hargeet, man. Thank you very much. He says, GTL's back. Hey, Luca and Fonz.
What's up, man?
Let me get these others here. We've got one here from Biff Rinaldi. What's up, Biff? He says, welcome back, good sir. Hello, Luca. Hello. Mo B with the $5 super chat says, big homie Fonz, we do need sounds. We are glad that you and GTL is back. Everybody hit that like button. Yes, we do need sounds. I agree. Happy to see Luca, he says. So yeah, everybody's here, of course, to see the Ashen one, the Ashen Luca. Now, basically today, we don't really have much in the way of gaming news to talk about. So as I was thinking about it, there was something that I did want to touch on this show in the past. And it was basically gaming culture and everything that surrounds it, basically. And I've always wanted to do this topic, but with somebody from the opposite sex, because for me, I feel like that's how you can kind of get both sides of this whole thing, with gaming culture and how people perceive things, because let's face it, men and women think differently. We at least process things differently in our brains. It's scientific. It's a fact. We all do it. We process things differently. In the end, we're the same intellectually, and it's not like it goes against our cognitive skills or intelligence. We on the broader scope, we are the same, but we just process things differently. So basically, Luca, how I wanted to start this discussion was, I kind of wanted to ask you, what is your perception of a gamer or gamers? When you hear somebody ask that, what is your perception like? What comes to your mind?
Well, a gamer is just somebody who plays video games, you know what I'm saying? So,
okay.
Or any kind of game. Just someone who plays games, basically. You know what I'm saying? It's all I really think about.
It sounds like a simple question, yet it's kind of complex, especially when you think about somebody on the outside looking in. People that aren't typically gamers, what are some of the things that they perceive gamers to be? I mean,
I'm gonna keep it real with you, buddy. They think gamers are losers. You know what I'm
losers,
saying?
nerds.
Yeah, nerds. I've had female friends where they're just like they've kind of had to not get used to the idea, I guess you could say, but I guess when you're having a conversation and you're like, yeah, I play video games, you can kind of see it in their
Mm-hmm.
eyes. They're like, okay, like the little judgment. But once they understand, like once you explain it and they get it, it's like, oh, okay, it's just a hobby, cool.
And then they think things like misogynistic, sexist, violent, all that stuff. Like they have this perceived notion of gamers and what they are. I had this argument not too long ago. I was talking with somebody about the recent mass shootings we had and everything. And his immediate thing was, it's these video games. These video games is why this stuff is happening. And I got into kind of a heated argument with him because it's bullshit, at the end of the day. Studies have been conducted, out there, many of them, and they've all come back with no evidence to really support that video games do cause violent tendencies. So I would tell him this stuff, and it's like I couldn't get through to him. He still feels that way. And there's many people out there who do. What's your thoughts on that, on violence in video games? And, what do you think about that? Do you think that somebody, well, I won't say nobody couldn't be, I think there'd be a problem with the person already before they, committed an act. I don't think it would be just, a video game, made them do this or that.
Yeah,
What's your
I
thoughts on that?
usually just tell people, I'm like, there's, video games sell and exist in different countries, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what's the mass shooting rates for other countries? And then that usually shuts people up. So
True, but then other countries as well, they don't have as many weapons on the street as, our country. That's kind of a thing too, but there are mass
but then
stabbings.
that would be a different conversation then. If
Yeah.
it's like, so if there's a lot of weapons available on the street, what's the actual issue here? Is it really the video
Mm-hmm.
games or how available these weapons are, that kind of thing?
Yeah. But there are a lot of mass stabbings and stuff in other countries. That happens. But the overall thing, it's just one of those things where that's just one piece of the whole situation where I think people view gamers a certain way. The sexism and misogynistic things, especially because we do have some games tailored in a way where, sex sells. I mean, we know that, Luca. So some of these games, some of these characters sometimes are portrayed in a certain way. Maybe cleavage is being shown, short skirts, whatever. How do you feel about when you get into a game with, a female character that's kind of dressed scantily clad and, showing cleavage, short skirt, whatever?
Listen, I like having something nice to look at, buddy. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see
Luca's
a
one of the
problem with
boys
it.
here today.
I'm just saying, like, for me personally, I'm a huge fan of RPGs. So it's like part of that is me dressing up my character and my character looking good. So
Same.
it's like whether I'm playing as a girl or a guy, I just want them to look good for
And how
me.
often have we, for years, I mean, going back to the 80s even, we've had male protagonists shirtless,
Yeah.
and nothing's ever said, but I know it's not the same with females, or at least society doesn't view it as being the same as, say a female protagonist showing cleavage or whatever, with gigantic boobs or whatnot. But in the end, for me, I just feel like it's dumb. And a study was just recently conducted, and the findings and everything, they'll be out in October in some, it's going to be posted in some journal. So some psychologists got together and they talked with people. They studied some gamers and stuff. And they said they saw no evidence of really these types of games leading to misogyny or sexism or anything like that as well. So it's funny how stereotypes and things are getting broken down through these studies and stuff. Yet people out there will still always, kind of correlate the two: gaming with sexism, gaming with misogyny, gaming with violence. And it's one of those things where I find it's dumb, but at the same time, it's something that we have to deal with as gamers. That outside perception of us.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't help that there's people in subgroups of the gaming culture that do behave in that manner, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But like at the same time, this community isn't unique. there's a ton of communities that do engage in
Facts.
very nasty behavior. So it's just kind of like, I think it's just human nature to be awful, depending.
She said human nature to be awful. Well, it's human nature to be tribalistic, right? And that's another aspect of gaming culture, right? We
Hmm.
have tribalism. We tribalism is inherent in all of us, and whether it be sporting events or sports teams, whether it be uh, movies, people are out there saying their team whatever or versus team, what Johnny versus team Amber. Who was it in Twilight? Team I don't know.
Edward and
Those two
Jacob.
Edward and Jacob. All those things, like, so there's tribalism everywhere because that's inherent in all of us, not just gamers. But why do you think it is that gamers, it seems, and I know we're part of just one small community, and it's a large community. There's thousands in this little community that we are personally a part of, right? But we're just part of a bigger community. I mean,
Hmm.
there's millions of little pockets of gamers out there, I would say, in different
Yeah.
communities. And but in the end, we're all kind of the same. We all kind of feel the same. We all kind of do the same stuff. There's some that are worse than others, but the communities are pretty much the same. So when we always generalize our little community and we talk about things and we say, well, we're just a small part of the community. True, but we are a part of that bigger community that feels the same. The gamers everywhere all the communities everywhere pretty much feel the same. But why do you think it is that, the fanboyism, it feels like that for gamers anyway, it feels like fanboyism here is on a different level than, say, even, Android iPhone or, Team Jacob, Team whatever, what is it about the gamers that are so freaking passionate about their console that they're willing to like die on a hill on the stupidest things for?
Well, I don't really agree that it's just like in this space, because I've been a part of a lot of fandoms, like I grew up with internet culture, you know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So it's like I've been in a lot of like TV show fandoms, book fandoms, that kind of thing.
Speak on it.
And I gotta, man, listen, yeah, it's bad here, but there's other places where it's like okay, this one fandom I'm in, they're like they go ahead, they make fun of how the actors look
Yeah.
because the actor plays a character they don't like. They do stuff like that, or
Mm.
someone dies of like a drug overdose, and they're like, oh well, they make fun of the actor for dying because they don't like the character. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I've grown up seeing people be that awful in terms of like lack of respect towards other human beings, that kind of thing. So when I joined this community, I just like, yeah,
Hmm.
of course these people are crazy. Like that makes sense too, because every fandom I've been a part of has like a subset of nut jobs in it. So like I just feel like it seems very prevalent because we are heavily involved in the
Yes.
gaming space. But like since I'm a part of other fandoms as well, I'm like actively seeing other people behave in a very unbecoming manner as like too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it doesn't really hit me like it
And
would for
that's what
someone
I
who's
kind of,
just in this.
and I think I
Yeah.
said that wrong too, because my,
Hmm.
my question should have been, why is the perception that we are viewed worse than those others when in reality it's not that bad, or it's just as bad, I should say, because it does get bad. There's certain
Yeah, it does.
fanboys out
Yeah.
there. It's pretty toxic, but like you said, in other, fandoms, it's just as bad. It's just as bad. But again, it's that perception of the gamer. It's that perception of being a loser. It's that perception of being, that nerd who'll just die on a hill for what his piece of plastic, and it's sad. We've got. What do you think about this community? And when you come across a certain individual who seems to be really toxic, what do you really do in that situation if they're trying to have a conversation with you, yet the type of person they are based on his other dealings with other people, and he's pretty toxic? Do you try to keep them part of the discussion, or do you end up just muting, blocking?
Yeah, there's a lot of really awful people, or
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, maybe they're not awful as people, people who've said and done awful things that I interact with pretty regularly and stuff. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? because it's just kind of like at the end of the day, in this particular community that we're in, no one actually cares if you're like an awful person. If you want to be here and you want to stay, you can stay. Like I have seen people do and say some of the worst things ever. I've seen people be sexist and homophobic, racist, lots of racism.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
I've seen people and heard people threaten to kill other people. I have
Oh,
seen and
the
yeah, I mean,
guns. Yeah, the
yeah,
pulling out guns on
mm,
videos.
pulling out guns on videos. That's happened at least 3 times
Yep.
so far. I have seen people and heard about people sending unsolicited
Yeah.
picks. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep.
So it's and all those guys, all of them, they're still around. So it's just like for me, it's like since I realized that these people like no one actually cares about any of the issues they claim to care about. It's just kind of like, okay, this person's on the Xbox side or this person's on the PlayStation side, so we're gonna use it as a talking point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um,
And then it seems like some people get rallied around because they're on their side. You know, even when they do
yeah,
something so terrible, like send pictures of themselves to underage girls, you know, and they get rallied around because hey, he's one of us. And it's disgusting to me that that happens at times. And more as I'm getting older, Luca, I seem to just be blocking people just right away. I stop really interacting with a lot of these people because there's no point. You're not ever going to change their mind on things. And they're there, some of them anyway, I feel like they're there just to cause grief. I really do. I feel
yeah,
like,
I agree with you. There are some of them where it's like if I don't know them and it's like particularly egregious, I do just block them and stuff.
yeah.
But like I said, man, at the same time, like there are so many people who have been exposed
Mm-hmm.
for doing and saying like the worst things in the world, and everyone like I mean, people still talk to them. They're still around. They still show up in like spaces or podcasts. So I just like I just moderate my own friend group and I keep with my own friend group and I am just mindful of who I'm talking to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
And keep it moving, basically.
yeah. And it's that fanboy lack of self-awareness that we see a lot of.
You
Like
know,
these people just do not have any self-awareness at all sometimes. And they just expose themselves all the time.
you know,
And I love that. But anyways, let me get a couple of these super chats here. I've got one here from Outbreak Podcast. I'm going to be on this guy's podcast soon. This, of course, is Web Dave, and I know
yeah,
you were on
good
his
guy.
show. Good
Yeah,
guy,
really
good
good
guy.
guy. Yeah.
He basically talks to the gamers and the community members out there, and kind of does like a behind the scenes sort of thing. Gets to know the people and gives you guys a better insight into what the people are about and all that stuff. These people that we know as gamers, influencers, whatever, content creators. It's really cool. Anyways, he says, Fonz, welcome back, sir. Luca is an amazing person. I agree.
Appreciate
Luca's
you, brother.
awesome.
Appreciate you, brother.
We've got Flame in the house. He says, missed you, Fonz. Welcome back. Also, hi, Luca.
Hi.
She said hi. We've got the Darge Knight. Darge, my buddy. He says, evening all. Just stopping in to see my good friend Fonz and my queen, Luca.
Hey, what's
We'll
up,
listen
King?
back
How you
tomorrow.
doing?
Love from London. Yeah, he's awesome. Darge is cool.
Yeah,
We've
he's a
got
good guy.
Jez. He says, question, do y'all like beans?
No, I don't like them the way you like them, Jazz. All right.
Okay,
I don't
well,
like them the
what
way
is
you
this
like
about?
them.
This has got to be an inside thing with you.
Okay, so he's always posting like weird bean memes on like the timeline, just weird pictures featuring like a lot of beans and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like one of those
No, I don't.
beans and like weird food combinations, that kind of thing. It's just like, Jess, what are you doing, man? Like what's going on, man? Like what's happening?
Yeah, that's
So,
weird. That's really weird. But beans are all right. I can eat them baked. I can eat them. Anyway, really, beans are good. Beans on the stove are good. But I'm not a huge fan. Not one to post pictures of beans all the time. It's kind of an odd thing.
It's just like, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Hargeet Chani, again, my good friend, he says, ultimately, it comes down to human tribalism. People want to belong to a tribe and defend that tribe. that can translate to any area, Chevy, Ford, Coke, Pepsi, sports teams, etc., not just consoles. And yeah, that's what we were talking about. Android iPhone is another big one. You'd be surprised. I own both an Android and an iPhone. And people are like, well, how can you do that? How can you do that? And how can you even go back and forth once you held an iPhone and seeing everything that it can do? And then you go back to that cheap iPhone that, is way behind in terms of, in innovation and stuff. And I'm like, listen, I like what they both have to offer. It's the same with consoles with me. I like what they both have to offer. They offer different things, and I love that. And I don't know if there's like anything chemically in the brain that's wrong with me as a person because I can do that,
No,
like
there's nothing
some
wrong
people
with
can
you.
do that but not everybody can. Like I've never been the type to be, oh my God, this is my sports team and I don't like any other sports team. I've never been that way. And I like a lot of sports teams, but I've never been the one guy that says, nope, I don't like that because this is my team right here. I mean, that's kind of weird, isn't it?
No, it's not weird at all. There's a lot of people who are like that. Maybe not people you see every day in this space that we exist in, but they do exist. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having a preference either. It's just like for me
Oh,
personally,
no, not at all.
it's just like if I don't like something, it has to be for a reason. And these consoles, like I really don't care enough about them to have like some kind of personal feelings about them. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
So it's like
yeah.
I don't have any personal feelings enough to dislike them. Even when I was like making fun of and ragging on Nintendo just for funsies, I still got a Switch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like I have every single platform. I like playing on what I play on. It's like whatever to me.
yeah, you like playing the games you want to play wherever they're at, and that's
Wherever they're
good.
at,
That's
indeed.
fine. Hargeet Shani, of course, he's put up a code there for Game Pass Ultimate 3 months. I'm sure somebody already snagged it because they're that fast out there, but enjoy that. And yes, somebody said slow news week confirmed. Yes, it's a
No, it's pretty bad, bro.
slow news
It's
week
pretty
for
bad,
gaming.
man. Yeah.
There's
I
really
was
nothing to talk about.
there's nothing to talk about, dude.
Yeah.
I have my own podcast for those who don't know, and we were just like, so what are we talking about, boys?
Mm-hmm.
What we talking about? It's tough, man. It's definitely
Yeah.
tough.
Basically, it's one of those things, guys, where look, I had to come back at a certain point because I like doing this show, and it just sucks that it happens to be on a slow news week, and I had to drag my my homie over here down with me into flames on
You're good,
GTO.
buddy.
But she's here. She's gonna go down with the ship as well, and we're gonna sit here and talk to you as long as we can, and then when we get bored, we're gonna say, okay, we're done. We're getting out of here. And Boba Fett said Fonz is just super chill. That's all. Yeah. Well, I'm super chill today. I wish there was more to talk about, but there really isn't. And what were we talking? Oh yeah, we were talking about the tribalistic stuff. And yeah, basically, with the whole thing with Twitter and stuff, that's a whole nother freaking issue into itself, is the craziness that is Twitter. But the biggest thing out there, Luca, that gaming culture, the biggest thing to hit gaming culture recently, hit it hard, was this whole news about teabagging. Teabagging in video games.
Oh yeah.
Let me ask you something. Do you feel that you should get consent from somebody before you teabag them in a game?
Let me ask you a counter question. Do you think you should get consent before you kill somebody in a game? Should you ask them before you shoot them?
Touche.
No. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I find it weird, right? And I said that to a guy because we had this conversation on Twitter. Again, it was a pointless, stupid conversation. It started off okay, then he got kind of weird, and then he just kept going. And I was like, dude, I don't want to have this conversation with you. And basically the gist of it was, I was speaking to you, one of your posts on the situation, and I said,
Oh yeah.
I personally never really view it as sexual. I view it more as just disrespect. Basically, I killed you. Now I'm doing this to you. And yes, I know the context behind it is sexual. It's obvious what it means. But this guy was like, Fonz, that's just stupid. How can you say it's not sexual? you're putting virtual balls into their mouth. And I said, there is no virtual balls anywhere in these games. And number two, I'm hitting the crouch button over and over, and I'm just basically doing this to disrespect them. So this is the way I view it. I don't view it as being sexual, and I don't view it as I need consent from somebody. And he just kept going on about it. And I was just like, dude, this is how I perceive it. If you perceive it another way, and then he proceeds to tell me, it doesn't bother me, but it is sexual. And I'm like, if it doesn't bother you, why are you even going on with these semantics? I cannot stand people like that, Luca. And I'm sure you encounter people like that a lot as well. It's just, man.
Yeah, I just think it's a silly conversation, in the sense that it's like, listen, like you got to go through some mental gymnastics to say some goofy shit like that, man. Like, in my opinion, I really just think that the chick who put it out there, she probably got bodied in a game and someone teabagged her and she got like upset about it, so she decided to come on social media and say something real stupid. So.
I think that person who sent it out there, because I looked at their handle and everything on Twitter, I think that's a troll.
Oh, completely plausible too. Unfortunately, like, even if that is a troll, I have seen real developers come out and say that that's like teabagging is a sexual assault or something.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I've read recent articles on that because of all this. There has been articles written about this situation, and they've basically said some people are calling it sexual assault, and I'm like, no, we're not doing this. 343 themselves even coded a bot to teabag in the game when that was in beta. You remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. It's like, well, did this bot just teabag me? Yeah, I know, I remember that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's a dangerous conversation in the sense that it takes away from like how serious actual harassment and assault is. You know what I'm saying? And trying to compare pixels on the screen to the harassment and assault real people face is disgusting, in my opinion.
Especially when it's given in a certain manner. It's done on video games where it is more of a sign of disrespect, and it's just like, I killed you, ha ha ha, and they crouch up and down and they run away. Nobody's sitting there really thinking, man, I'm putting my, in nobody's doing that, Luca. Nobody.
Yeah, I think everyone's pretty much aware it's kind of like it's a taunt, like, I don't do it first, but whenever I do get teabagged, I make it my mission to find the person who teabagged me so I can teabag them back, you know what I'm saying, after I kill them. So that's typically what I do. And I feel like I feel like most people who are in the culture just know that that's what it means. It's like this person's just being a douchebag.
Disrespect.
So let's go find him and kill him, So.
Yeah. What do you guys think in the chat anyway about teabagging? How do you guys really honestly feel about it? Erica for the win is already put in there. Clam slam, that's what she does, I guess, in gaming.
Yeah, that's the female equivalent of it. We talked about it a couple of days ago.
Yeah, matter of fact, I was playing Halo Infinite online with Fun Speculation in that gang. Look, Assassin Lupa and Caitlin, they both clam slammed me a lot in that game when they killed me, and they were saying it too. As they should. And look, and I never felt once like, oh my gosh, she should have gotten consent from me. I didn't feel assaulted. I didn't feel any way about it. I just felt like, man, the disrespect from some friends, that's the way I felt about it. It was just fun. It was all in fun. I'm going to get to these super chats before they go away. Mo B says, we are just happy you're back, brother. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. Just wish it was a better news week for sure. Hargeet with another super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, oh, wow. He says, okay. So I guess he's trying to say ponies can send pics, what kind of pics, to Sony devs, but teabagging is harassment. Teabag style with the 2200 global credits here. He's got the credits up. You can get in Halo Infinite there. Pick them up if you haven't already. Whoever got those, of course, enjoy. But Hargeet, yes, yeah. But what was that all about with people sending dick pics to Sony developers and then asking about the date for Ragnarok? What?
Yeah. Listen.
What is that, Luca?
I,
Why did you do that? Why did you do that, Luca?
Why did I send dick pics to that chick, man? I don't fucking know, man. I thought it would work, man. I thought I'd get the God of War.
Yeah, you didn't.
Release date. No, I really like. Listen, you would have to listen. You got to have a certain kind of mindset to send unsolicited dick pics in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you got to be some kind of brainlet if you think that sending dick pics is going to convince some chick who works there to release
exactly
the date. Like, how there's no logic there. So I just think they were doing it to be douchebags, to be quite honest, and hiding it behind like this idea of getting the release date early. It's just very silly. I feel for her though. She's an attractive woman and she's getting harassed by a bunch of freaks. I get it, man. I definitely get it.
Yeah, I don't know who it was too, but I heard about it and I was just like, what were they thinking? They were sitting there one day and they were like, hey, you want to see my dick?
Yeah.
Can I see that Ragnarok release date? You know, some weird stuff like that. Like their internal monologue was telling them to do something like that. Yes, maybe I can get that. Maybe I can get the date if I just show her my way.
Yeah, there's like, first of all, listen, most girls do not like unsolicited dick pics. I'm just putting that out there, guys. So
no, do not do that,
don't
people.
Send them. You know what I'm saying?
Don't that can constitute some, sexual, harassment.
Yeah, that is sexual harassment. Yeah.
So that is.
And if anyone ever, so it's never happened to me, right? But if it ever happens, if it ever happens, I'm putting that person out on Front Street. Like I'm exposing you.
I know you would.
I am exposing you, whoever does it, man. So
yeah, and I figured that that's probably happened to you just because you're a female in the Twitterverse. I figured that would have already happened to you.
No, most people don't know I'm a girl because I don't have my picture up. So.
Oh, you used the hyenas and stuff. Yes, that's what you always use. But still, you always talk about like I'm a girl or whatever. You say it sometimes, like in posts, and I'm sure a lot of people know in this community by now. So that's why I thought that you'd have been harassed.
I feel like the main people who I've interacted with and who I've been on podcasts with, the people in their chats, they know. But like generally on Twitter's like a different space. So I would not assume that most of my followers know that I'm a girl unless I talk about it. So I don't make it easy because I do tend to quote retweet men and women in equal measure. I'm just like, oh, this person looks good or whatever, right? So I'm sure people are like, I can't tell. And then whenever I do post a picture, whenever I do post a picture, people are like, girl, you're a woman or you're black, that kind of thing.
Well, going back to years before we were on Real Deal Xbox podcast together, that's right, people. If you don't know, she was one of the OGs with me, Dealer, her all day, Colt Eastwood, and Dealer Gaming. We started RDX together, and but before that, I remember hearing you on another podcast, and I'll just say it. I was listening, and I go, "Who is this little kid, this little boy, and why is he on the show with a bunch of adults? This is kind of weird." And I felt awkward, and then like later on, when I found out who you were, I was like, "Oh, I felt so stupid." I was like, "Oh man, I'm sorry," but
it really So it comes into a thing. If you use a little bit of logic here, what sense would it make for a 13-year-old boy to be on a podcast with a bunch of grown men? You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's always what I say to people. I'm like, you thought boy before you thought girl? Really?
Yeah, I thought that you were a little boy, and I was like, this is weird. Like, why? And he was cursing and stuff, and I was like, what is going on here?
I get it though. Most people aren't used to hearing women on male-dominated, male-centric podcasts. I get that. So.
I guess at the time, yeah, because I never came into contact with any of that. There was I found out later that there was an all-girl podcast as well for gaming, and then I was like, oh, okay, so everybody's doing this and everything. I didn't know because back then podcasting was new to me, so. I didn't know girls wanted to talk about video games in this space. I was just like, whoa, okay, cool. But yeah, it was just one of those things where when I heard you, I thought, man, who's this little boy? And then I met you and I was like, oh man, Luca's cool as shit, man.
Yeah.
Anyways, BK Born Gaming says, welcome back, Fonz. Shout out to you and the homie Luca. P.S.
What's good, my boy?
Get this teabag consent out of here. Laugh aloud. If they want to teabag me, big pause, I will find them and just teabag them right back. That's it. Yeah, I'm not even one to teabag people at all anyway, but I've always been like, I would get annoyed when people did it to me, and I would remember their name, and I would find them and try to kill them every time because I hated being teabagged. That's just the way I look at it. It's just disrespect.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way I feel about it, too. I do the same thing. If you teabag me, I'm coming after you. You know what I'm saying?
And that's, yeah. And then it's one of those things, too, where you've seen, like, teabagging's been around forever. And
yeah.
When it happens now, like, I'm shocked that people still do it. I'm like, really? You just teabag me? Really? You disrespected me like that? And it's just more irritation on top of the annoying frustration that, yeah, you killed me and you did that. Boba Fett Gaming with the 20. Thank you very much, my friend. He says, glad to have you back, Fonz. You make my Monday mornings more bearable. Great guest choice in Luca. Yeah, if I'm going to have somebody here to talk about nothing, it's going to be Luca. Yeah, for sure. No, it's great being here with you, Luca. But yeah, you know, so anything new going around in the space that you might want to bring up here at all? Because I've got a couple other little things I can, but I'm gonna, ask you. Anything
honestly,
you guys?
I mean, there's really nothing going on. You know what I'm saying? It's like very boring. I'm very bored.
You are not. Oh, okay. You're bored, but you're not very boring. Don't ever say that.
No.
Yeah, you're not very boring.
No, I'm just bored in general, dude. Like, I listen, I do enjoy the build up to E3 and all that stuff, but the weeks after are always so dry. It's like this every single year. So I'm just kind of like cruising, just going through the motions, just chilling with the boys. So
that Summer Games Fest was trash.
Oh, still better than E3, but let me not speak on the Xbox showcase.
Well, I know that you didn't care for it. I thought it was okay. I thought it was good. I didn't have any real problems with it other than where's the games in 2022? The big games anyway for first party. That's the issue I took with it. But again, Xbox takes an L for that. Well, but I didn't think the show was that bad. I thought the show had a lot of gameplay.
I went back because Fonz has been on my podcast before, guys, and this was a stream where Fonz was there, and we were talking about Xbox's upcoming 2019 E3, right? Mm-hmm. And Slomo was like, "Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Playground's new game and whatever Obsidian's working on and whatever Ninja Theory's working on." And I hear that, and I'm just like, those games are still not out, and that was in 2018 with us talking.
Damn.
So I'm just kind of like,
damn, gosh, you got a point there. But again, the whole COVID thing, we pretty much, developers lost like 2 years there. I mean, there wasn't
much. What about the other developers coming out with good games?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Affected. How long have they been working on those games? I don't know.
Probably around the same time.
Okay, Luca. Stop being logical here. But
listen, I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying?
Not everybody can bring out an Elden Ring, right? Not everybody can do that. And that Elden Ring was what, 3.5 years?
Let's see here. Sekiro is 2019. So they tend to co-develop those. So like they'll be working on something as they're releasing a game. So it would make sense if they were working on it while doing Sekiro.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people will say, oh, they used a lot of the same assets. It doesn't look much different than the others. True.
It does look different, though.
But the game design was impeccable. I feel the open world is amazing. I like it better. So I can't wait to see what they do next. But I have a feeling like people are talking about Bloodborne 2 and things like that. I don't foresee them making that an open world thing. I think that'll be a linear thing, just like the first.
If they even do a Bloodborne 2, who knows, man? I don't know. I feel like Bloodborne and Sekiro are like one of those projects where it's like, these are one-off projects that we're going to do and see and change up our style a little bit, and then we'll never go back to it. I really think that it's like that, which, don't get me wrong, Bloodborne's great, and so is Sekiro. I love those games, so.
345th in chat says, Fonz Really Gaming, are you getting a Steam Deck? No, I'm not getting a Steam Deck. No. Yeah, she said no either. Uh, what's the reason why you're not getting one?
I have no reason to have one. Like, the only reason I would use it is if I'm going to California to visit my mom, but I'm not
But
doing that very often. You know what I'm saying?
but
So,
PCMR.
I have a good PC.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah,
I don't even
I
have a
got
PC because
I
I
got a
don't care.
3070, baby. Okay,
Oh
you know what I'm
damn,
saying? You know what
flexing.
I'm saying? All right,
I
baby.
don't have a PC. I have a Mac because I don't care to game on PCs anymore. I
Hmm.
gamed on them back in the day with. I'll show you how old it was. Back when World of Warcraft was new. Okay, that's how long ago I used to game on PC, and I had a lot of frustrations on PC. And I know there's a lot of PC guys out there that'll tell you that stuff doesn't happen nowadays. It's pretty much carefree gaming. It's easy. It's just as easy as console. Blah blah blah. But then I still have friends that are on PC that still tell me some of that stuff that I got annoyed with still happens today. So, I tend to believe my friends over the people that are just telling me online, oh no, PC master race all the way. No problems here ever. Those guys, I don't believe them. But even that, like for me, the Steam Deck, there's no appeal for me because it's a handheld. I don't like handhelds anyway. I have a couple of Switches. I hardly ever played the one of those Switches that we had, and I may have played a little bit of Mario Kart, but on the TV. I didn't play it in handheld mode. I don't care for that. Like for me, it's just handhelds are a waste of money for me. I won't use them. And I've bought handhelds in the past. I've bought PSPs. I've had a Vita. I've had freaking Game Boys, going all the way back to Game Boys. I never really used them. I just wasted my money, and I'm not going to waste $500 on a PC in my pocket. Just not going to do it. So
Yeah, completely understandable. You know, these things, not everything's for everyone, and that's
no,
perfectly
no,
fine.
no, and I
You
don't
know?
hate on it. Like if you're into it, great, fine, have fun with it. Just not for me. Infinite Umbra, my brother, with the $5
What's up,
super chat.
boy?
He says, welcome back, Fonz, my brother. No better guest for your return than one of the most genuine people I've ever met in the community, in Luca.
Oh, thank
Yes,
you.
and I've told her
Yeah,
this before too. She really
yes, you
honestly
have.
is one of the most genuine people. I've told things to Luca, personal things that she's never told anybody else. She's very trustworthy. Such a good person. Such
Yeah,
a
we've
good
been friends for a very
5 years.
long time.
Five
Yeah, five
years now.
years. So, yeah.
RDX is 5 years old now, and that's where I met you. Is when we both
Hmm.
basically got chosen out of the community to be on this show with some people that were like way above us in content
Hmm.
creation and
Yeah.
everything else, and we're like, whoa, like it just kind of blew our minds. I'm sure it blew your mind as well. I was like, I can't believe I'm going to do this podcast with Dealer and Colt and all
Yeah,
day.
I didn't really know too much about I knew Dealer was on Xbox Nation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't know anything about Colt. And then All Day, I remember you and All Day being on GRG and stuff. And
Yep.
All Day used to be on Zaire's channel a lot, so that's where I knew him from. But like we had never really spoken before. So it was just like a bunch of strangers getting together and like
It was
starting a
really
podcast.
weird, and
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
I remember Dealer because at the time he was like, okay, now let's get into party chats together, let's play some games together and stuff, like in the beginning, and we all kind of vibed, everything clicked, and it was really nice. And then you and I hit it off really good, like we were talking
Yeah.
for a lot, like behind the scenes and stuff, and I was like, man, Luke is cool, and
Yeah.
so it sucks you had to leave the show at the time. I remember a couple of years in, you had to leave. You were doing some school and stuff,
Yeah.
but you're still an OG. You're still always welcome there, and we have a
Yeah.
blast every time you come back.
Yeah, I
But
still have a really good relationship with those guys.
Dealer,
Like me and
yeah,
Dealer, like that's my big brother. You know what I'm saying?
yep,
Like we were
yep,
just playing some It Takes Two a couple days ago, and we having a lot of fun with it, and hanging out with Zocker in the party and stuff. And we still talk to Code and everything. And me and All Day, like All Day, does the podcast with me, my podcast with
yeah,
me and
yeah,
stuff. So
yeah.
yeah, we're all really good friends. I'll never forget that time when All Day and Dealer tried to convince us to buy that Fortnite beta, but I was like, no, ma'am,
Oh,
no, no, ma'am. And you were like, oh, I'll
you
pick
know
it
what?
up, you know?
You guys are going to hear the story again, and I don't care. Maybe some of you haven't heard it in the chat, but so I'm minding my own business, as Luke
As
would
you
say,
should.
my own hoe-ass business. All right, no, but I'm sitting there doing my thing, and I'm playing my video games. I'm in party chat with Dealer and All Day, and they tell me, hey, Fonz, you really need to try this game, and I was like, what? And they're like, Fortnite, it's really fun. And I'm like, oh, what do you do? And they said, oh, you build bases and stuff, and you have to stop the zombies from coming in. It's kind of like a tower defense, but it's really fun. You play co-op. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll try it. And they're like, yeah, it's $40. So I spend the $40. And as I'm downloading the game and I jump into the game, right on the first screen, it says beta. And I already get pissed. And I start going, you guys made me spend $40 on a beta. I said, a beta? They should be paying us for betas,
Yeah,
I was getting pissed off.
The Save the World edition or whatever.
Yes. And so then I was like this, Luca. I go, okay, whatever. I get into it. And immediately I'm like, how do I do this? How do I do that? And they're like, okay, you just build this way and stuff. And I'm starting to build a house. And I'm going, I don't like this. I don't like anything about this game. And so 15 minutes goes by and we're playing together, mind you. And they're like, so how you liking the game, Fonz? I go, what? Oh, I just got a refund for it. 15 minutes. I got a refund within 15 minutes of play, and they were laughing.
Like I said, rightfully so, because like I said, I remember being in a party with them, and they were trying to convince me to buy it. I was like, no, I looked it up. That's a beta. No, I'm not spending $40 on this. So yeah, but when I heard they got you to get it, I was like, oh, damn, fine.
Yeah, but hey, thank goodness for Microsoft and their refund policy, because I was not about to have that beta in my life for $40. No, thank you.
No way. There was no way, man. And then they stopped playing it shortly after.
No, and that's the funny thing. They got mad at me because I got a refund. They go, man, you quit on everything. I can't believe that. They were making fun of me. And not even a week later, they're like, oh, we don't play that anymore. It's trash. And I was like, you see? But anyway, it's just one of those things that sometimes friends get you to do dumb things, but I still love Dealer. Still love you, bro. Yeah. But man, that was messed up. All day, that was messed up.
Yeah, they really. I mean, like I said, they got you, man. They weren't going to get me though. That was like, no way.
That's not as bad as one of my PlayStation friends. He got me to buy Driveclub, the $120 edition at the time.
Oh man,
because we're going to play this all the time. This is great. And back then, I was okay with the racers. I was like, okay, I'll play it. I'll play it with you. So I spent the money, and I hated the way it felt. It did not feel good at all. Driveclub is pretty, but it doesn't feel good. Man, I wasted $100 and something bucks. And no, PlayStation did not refund me. They just, no.
That's tough, man. Well, I have a recent thing. I got Elden Ring on Xbox because my friend said he'd play it with me. And has he played it with me, Fonz? Has he played it with me? No, he hasn't played with me. All right. So I'm just like, all right, well, I guess I got all the way up to Morgott and I stopped playing. So it was, like whatever, I guess. But it's a good game. So I guess it doesn't really matter.
It's a fantastic game. It's my game of the year. So
yeah, it's currently my game of the year too.
Yep. Hargeet Shani says Elden Ring started development in early 2017, 5 years to release. Most AAAs are 5+ years for developers. We're just impatient when it comes to Xbox. What do you think about that statement?
Well, considering that in 2018 was 4 years ago? Right? Like 4 years ago? 4 or 5 years ago, something like that.
Yes, 4.
Since it was 4 years ago, and we were talking about Playground and Ninja Theory and Obsidian, which would be Avowed, Fable, and Hellblade.
Yeah,
I think we're one more year until it hits that 5-year mark. Where are these games at? Where are they? We don't even know when they're coming out. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like like Xbox has games coming out this year. Like they do. Just nothing for me. Nothing for Luca, unfortunately.
Well, nothing for me in terms of AAA anyway. There's no AAA first party game for anybody really. They don't have one. So next year, of course, should be. I'm going to say should be a different story, because supposedly they have a lot coming next year, Starfield included. They've got their Forza Motorsport that we all thought was coming at the end of this year, right? Remember, that was going to be the savior. In 2022, holiday, it was going to be Forza Motorsport. That didn't happen, unfortunately. But I do see that coming right away next year, first quarter. We're supposed to get Starfield the first half. I don't know. Well, we'll see. We'll see about Starfield. But Starfield, how do you feel about Starfield? It's showing anyway on the Xbox showcase.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I know like that's not the popular answer, not that I really care, but like I thought it was great. I'm a big fan of Fallout 4. Me and you have talked about Fallout 4 before, and it looks like a Bethesda game, and that's what I want. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's not a problem for me. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm gonna jump in on that, what you just said there, because you said it looks like a Bethesda game, and that's what I want. And I'm in the same camp. However, had they come out with something that looked even better, like Unreal Engine 5, or something crazy looking game that looked hyper realistic, would that not be something that you'd want from Bethesda as well?
As soon as they said Creation Engine 2, I was just like, well,
Yeah. And
I know what to expect.
Better than their older games, right? I mean, we can agree with that.
It does. No, it does. I'm just saying, it's like,
why are people so hard on Bethesda?
I would love if they used a different engine. Like I promise you.
But why are they being so tough on them when this is what you should have expected? There is an evolutionary jump from Fallout 4 to this game. You can't tell me you can look at both of them and not see the difference with the faces and the way they look. No, they still got some of that dead eye stare, yes, but the faces themselves look a lot different. The lighting alone in the game looks a lot better. There's so much there that looks better than the original games. The shooting looks better. And of course, we can't tell until we actually get it in our hands, but it does look improved. I see a lot of improvement there. I don't understand why people are so hard on Bethesda when showing a Bethesda game in a trailer isn't really going to shine for a Bethesda game. Like, Bethesda is all about that narrative and about that exploration and about, really getting into the game and finding all the little details and things within, and again, the quest logs, the narrative and stuff like that. It's not about visuals with Bethesda per se. So you're not ever going to see. I don't think I've ever watched a Bethesda trailer and thought, "Oh my God, it looks so incredible." I've always looked at Bethesda trailers and went, that looks like a lot of fun. I can't wait to get into the narrative I know it's going to have. It's that sort of mindset that I have as a Bethesda fan.
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting more and expecting more. I want to preface what I'm about to say with that. But at the same time, like the community that we're in, they're going to use anything for like console war stuff. So like it was never really going to matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, regardless of how it looked, people would have come out and found something to complain about. And that's just kind of how it is. Like, the only people I take seriously when it comes to certain titles are people who I know are fans of the studio or of the franchise. So I'll Cassie in the chat, she's a big Bethesda fan. I watched her video on Starfield and what her issues were. And I'm like, okay, that's valid. But like for some random who has no intention on playing this game, never had any intention on playing this game, and is just coming through and talking mess in order to get in with the console war, I really don't care about what they have to say. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it's just coming from I just want a console war. I'm just going to use this as a console war talking point.
Yeah, and I see Cassie in the chat. She said, we're tired of Bethesda being Bethesda. And I know a lot of fans say that, but I want to know exactly what that means in terms of looking at Starfield at this time. Again, you can't really tell how the game is going to be based on a Bethesda trailer just showing you a bit of gameplay. Like, they'd have to go through a whole first mission to see, okay, now that's Bethesda being Bethesda, or that's not the Bethesda I want, or this is not as good as, say, Fallout New Vegas in terms of choices, or, that's the sort of stuff that intrigues me about Bethesda games. Like, I want to have more choices and stuff, and that's kind of what Todd has alluded to when he's talked about it. And I know Todd says a lot of things.
Todd, my favorite liar. I
know Todd says a lot of things, 16 times the detail. I'll never forget that. But Bethesda games are about that narrative and about their world and about exploration. And I think we're going to get that, we're going to get tons of that in Starfield. I don't see the big issue based on what we've seen so far. And mind you, this is a game that's been delayed as well. So it's not like it's coming out tomorrow and that's its final form. So I don't see the issue. I think people are just making mountains out of molehills. Yeah, again, you mentioned it, the fanboy war and all that. People are upset. They want to throw anything they can at Xbox, at Bethesda, whatever it may be, because there are Bethesda haters outside of the whole it being with Xbox. There's a lot of people who just don't like Bethesda.
Honestly speaking, like the amount of bugs that come out with their games, I don't blame people for having an issue with them. I get it.
I get it.
I definitely get it, but it is what it is.
And that's something that I think, and I've said it before, I know that this game's going to have a bunch of bugs. I know it will. Every game we played, you know how many times I came out of Fallout 4 out of one of my buildings, and that dude with the traveler with the big bull, they'd both be on my roof. And I'd be like, how do you get up there?
Yeah, I remember that. I had that happen to me too.
Yeah. But damn, do I love creating those bases, and I'll be able to do that in Starfield.
Was so much fun. It's so bad, dude. I was addicted to doing it.
I was addicted to that, and I told people I must have put like 50 hours alone into just base building. Like I did it to the point where I ran out of room on the console to even put another piece up. It says, you do not have space anymore to build any more bases. You are addicted. Go play something else. Go do a mission.
No, it was definitely, I really did enjoy, I enjoyed the building aspect of it, man.
So the base building in Starfield, along with the shipbuilding, is very intriguing to me. Very intriguing. Man. So,
like I said, I personally, I'm looking forward to it, but I can understand people who are fans having an issue. I get that for sure.
Yeah. The one thing I will say is, some of the things look much improved while other things don't. There was a few shots where they showed, and I'm like, really? What are they doing there with the trees? Okay, where they showed the big common area where there was a bunch of people in that one city, and they showed the trees, and the trees looked like they were like pancakes. They didn't look right. It looked bad. But everything else looked decent. I'm like, okay, that looks cool, but why couldn't you do anything with those trees? So it's just little details like that I don't personally like. The number one thing I will say about the game is it better have a 60 frames per second mode, because I need that nowadays. Luca, I'm sure you feel the same way. That's needed.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting the game on PC, so.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. Miss 3070 here. She's gonna.
Yeah. No, I've always wanted to play around with mods. Like that's been something I've wanted for literal years now, and that was my main reason I wanted a PC. And then to play some like older titles at a higher frame rate. Like I'm replaying Far Cry 3, and it's amazing. Like that's such a good game. That's a great fucking game, dude.
My favorite Far Cry game is 3. That was the only one I did everything on that map. I even did the stupid races just because I wanted to do everything.
No, it's great. So I'm playing that on PC now, and and I'll play Starfield on PC just for the modding experience, because I've never had that before, and I want to have that,
Yeah. Let me get to Lord Roughness Super Chats. He's got a couple of them here. Welcome back, Fonz, Mr. Show. And hi to Luca. It's great to put a face to the name. I've been supporting. Have a great show, guys. Yeah, he's got another one here. He said $55 on Anthem day one, and it still hurts. And
yeah, that's tough, man.
I didn't buy it. Anthem was one of those games that I personally played the beta for and thought, okay, I'm not dealing with loading screens as I'm walking or flying into just big common areas. Like there was parts where you were flying into this one area and all of a sudden it just loaded, and then you continued to fly in the same area. And I'm like, I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah, actually, one of my buddies bought me Anthem, and I felt so bad about that game not working. I gave him $60. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Man. I'm so sorry that you bought me this nonsense. Here's $60. You know what I'm saying? So.
Oh man.
It was tough, man. It was very, very tough.
Rodimus says, "Yo, Fonz, who is this young lady?"
Was What's up to the homie Rodimus? What's good?
As if he doesn't know who you are. Yeah, sure. Yeah,
No,
he's been
I
in
saw
your
it.
chats many times. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've seen him.
No.
Yeah, Cassie says some silly bugs are fun, and being glitched out of being able to start entire major quest lines is depressing. I've not had that happen to me in a Bethesda game. Now, I've been glitched out in certain areas, but I've not been glitched out of quest lines.
Which, but I definitely believe it happens.
Oh, I'm not disputing that.
Yeah.
It did happen to me in Assassin's Creed. I got glitched out of a storyline with getting the full Thor armor cert in Valhalla, and it pissed me off because I needed one more piece, and the quest giver will not even give me the time of day. He just looks at me, and I'm just like, please, can I have it? Nope, you're not going to have it. And I've tried everything, and it's a known bug, and there's nothing you can do about it. And it's so known that so many forums are filled talking about this, yet do you think that Ubisoft did anything about it? No, it's still there to this day.
Yeah, it's tough, buddy.
Yep, it sucks. And I hate when games do that because you want to, especially when you're enjoying it, you want to like praise the game. And then when something like that happens, it gets you upset. And just like Cassie said, you get depressed about it. It's like, damn it. Like, let me finish it.
I don't get depressed. I get angry. And then I'm gonna tell everyone how I feel too. Remember my State of Decay rant at 12 a.m. one night?
At midnight? Yeah.
At midnight? God, what was I doing, man? I don't know. But yeah, if there's, listen, bugs are the only thing I will not tolerate when it comes to these games. You know what I'm saying? So.
Oh, I remember I was on RDX ranting about State of Decay 2 when that came out. Yeah. I was like, my car literally got stuck in a guardrail. Like, how does that even happen? It like just molded into the guardrail and wouldn't get unstuck. But anyway, things like that happen. And we got a super chat here from Gaming Forte. He says, welcome back, bro. My Sundays are complete. Not really, but thank you. And that audio sound fire, shout out to the Rodecaster Pro 2. Yes, the Rodecaster Pro 2 is what you and I are both using now. Forte, that's awesome. Hey, Mama Luca, remember to blink twice if endangered. Fonz. Okay.
It's an inside joke.
If I'm endangered, yeah.
Yeah, because let me tell you something, okay? I just find it cute that Nautical was on my show saying, Luca, you've lost your edge. Luca, you're so nice now. Like, you don't go after people anymore, right? He says that, but in the same month, claims that I'm intimidating people. You know what I'm saying?
She is. She's a bully. Don't let her fool you. Don't let this 4'2" young lady fool you. She is a bully. She's one of the biggest bullies in the community. So much so that I haven't argued with her since like 2017.
That's true. You haven't. Yeah. Which I think is very funny. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no way. Like, it's just like, yes, Luca, you're right. You're right. Yep. Even if I don't believe it, I'm just like, you know, or sometimes she has the ability to convince me that she's right. And I'm like, I think about it later and I go, wait a minute. What? And I just let it go though. I don't say anything because I don't want that repercussion. I don't want any business with Luca. No, don't want that. Yeah. So
I'm a nice person.
Anyway, Luca, I know the show was kind of not great today, guys. I apologize. You know, there's not a lot to talk about this week, but I guarantee that if something doesn't pop up this week, well, I'm not going to guarantee anything. Scratch that. Not going to guarantee, but I will be back next week, regardless if there's something good to talk about or not. I can't guarantee a better show, but I'm going to try to get more sounds onto this thing. Like I said, I don't have my whole studio or whatever, but I'm going to try to do that because it's not the same when I do 5 questions and I don't have the ding. It's not the same.
Shout out to me for getting all of them right.
But Luca here got all of them right. Before we go though, Luca, I need you to tell everybody out there where they could find you and tell them a little bit about Legion of Scum. We need to hear about it.
All right, so you guys can find me on Twitter at the Ashen Luca. I host a podcast called Scumcast every Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Time, which is 7 p.m. Eastern. which is 4 p.m. Pacific. You know what I'm saying? And we cover gaming in the first half, and then we'll do like things going on in the world. So any real life events, anything in the media, so like movies, TV shows, that kind of thing. We'll cover like things going around, like we talked about that McDonald's thing with that baby mama drama and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we'll cover all those topics, and we just like to have fun with it. What else did you ask me to do?
It's just a fun show. I was just having you talk about Scumcast and your legion of scum.
Oh yeah, and then like my channel members and my people were called the Legion. I don't know, like Legion of Scum.
Legion of
Scum.
Scum.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
You should have called them Scum Guzzlers.
Yeah, I mean, I did a poll. I was like, should we do Scum Guzzlers? And people, for some reason, voted against it. I don't know why, man. So, you know what I'm saying?
Shout out to the Scum Guzzlers. I mean, Legion of Scum.
Shout out to the Scum Guzzlers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, shout out to my peoples, man. Shout out to my peoples.
But yeah, thank you for coming on, Luca. And it's always a pleasure to talk to you. But next time I have you on, we'll definitely have some newsworthy topics. Again, just one of those things where there just wasn't shit to talk about today. Anyways,
yeah, no
folks,
worries, man. Nothing going
until
on,
next time, game on.